So how many questions do we ask? What's the common theme? 3 to 5. Love it. Okay. So this is also going to be relevant to my value proposition. Okay. The value proposition is going to change as you gather more information. Oh, shucks. I didn't mean to do that. As you gather more information. And what I mean by it will change as you gather more information is the value proposition should be adjusting based on the needs of the customer. So this is what I mean. I'm doing a needs analysis and I go, do you have any dental procedures coming up, yada, yada, yada. They say, oh yeah, dental is important. I say, awesome. What kind of work do you need to get done? And they say, I don't know. And I go, okay, well, let's pretend you did know. And they say, oh, well, the dentist said I probably need dentures. I go, amazing. Dentures. I've asked like 2 follow-ups. And I say, okay. And then I'm just curious, how long have you needed dentures? And they say, I have, 5 years. Okay. And Mrs. Jones or Mr. Jones, I'm just a little curious, why haven't you got your dentures done over the last 5 years? I go, I've just been too embarrassed to go to the dentist, or I haven't had coverage. Who knows what they say? Okay, so that's the past. I'm focusing on the why from the past. And then I want to future pace the outcome. This is just a real story, okay? So I think it's so important to actually be present on the phone calls because then you can use these stories to build value with the customer. Is a lady needed dentures because she's a substitute teacher and she still wore a mask even though COVID's been over for a couple years. Why? Because she was too embarrassed to let her students see her smile or the lack thereof, okay? So just an example from that phone call specifically, I asked, well, what would it be like to show up at the first of the new year after Christmas break with new dentures and be able to smile in front of your class? And the lady teared up, right? So now it's no longer about just dental, it's about dentures. Why? Because the emotion and or confidence of the smile and value she can give to her students. Okay, so let's say Miss Dorothy got a little nervous at the end of my phone call. What would be my value proposition? Would it be additional benefits? No, it'd be like, hey Dorothy, I understand that you want to think about it, but my only job is to help you get those dentures, so starting at the first of the year, you can go into that classroom and show your students that beautiful smile that you have. So with that being said, the next step is I'll go ahead and help you with the application. Does that sound fair? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing here with the Flex Card. I'm not trying to scare customers, but I am trying to, these are the reality of their situation. I don't do this to manipulate them by any means, but these are just the situations our customers are in. So Mr. and Mrs. Jones, was there a specific reason you're interested in the Flex Card? They say yes. I go, okay. If you got that $500 Flex Card, what would you put that money towards first? They say, I don't know, bills. Right, I went from benefits to Flex Card to bills. Okay, well, I mean, what would be at the top of your priority list? And they go, oh, probably my property taxes. Oh, wow, okay. So property taxes. I mean, is there a specific reason that property taxes is what you'd put that extra money towards? Or I would use it for insert food, so I had more money for my property taxes, however we get there. Oh wow, property taxes, you aren't behind on your taxes, are you? Yeah, we just got a notice in the mail saying if we don't pay our tax bill, we're gonna lose our house. Okay, these are just real life examples on these phone calls. So what is my value proposition when the customer gives me pushback? Yahtzee. And unfortunately, what happened is this agent didn't do that. These customers lost $300 a month in a Part B give back because we stayed on benefits instead of the emotion. So Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I understand you've been happy with a company, but at the end of the day, what's more important, the name on the card or being able to stay in your home? My only job is to help put that extra $300 a month back in your pocket so you and your husband can keep your home. I get goosebumps thinking about it because this is real stuff. So with that being said, I'll hold your hand every step of the way and I'll make sure I take care of the entire process. You can take a deep breath. I got you from here, I promise. So with that being said, do I have your permission to start the enrollment process? Way more powerful than, well, this is a really good plan and it's got dental. Cool. Well, you asked for the flex card. This gives you the flex card. And it's okay if we're there in the beginning, but this stuff is just really powerful. And remember, customers aren't scared of the decisions. I'm not saying use this type of stuff to manipulate customers into making a shit decision. I want to be very clear on that. But if we identify what's important to them and the insurance product we offer can help them accomplish their needs, then we need to do everything we can to remind them of the consequences of the decision of saying no or yes, either way. Does that make sense? Okay, so back to the vacation. I can't give a beautiful vacation if I don't know the destination, aka the outcome the customer wants. Dang it. So I've done my needs analysis and I've identified Mary needs dentures, or John and Mary need extra money so they can stay in their home and pay their property taxes. Either one, I can give you an example for both. Sometimes there'll be more than one. Where are we at here? Okay, we're right here. Okay, so you can come up with something that sounds good to you, but the point is that you want to be excited even if it's a little bit uncomfortable. So we lose a little bit of our energy through the phone. So even though it may seem kind of corny when we're saying it, it's not quite as corny on the other side of the phone. It's no different through video. If you're on Zoom, you just lose 20 to 30% of the energy when you aren't there in person. So being a little bit over the top is beneficial. So it's just beneficial. I won't get into the reason why, just trust me, it is. Okay, so I'm getting ready to present the plan, right? We linguistically want to set the frame or the foundation that they're going to love what they hear. Oftentimes, and I just want to give you a great example, you're getting ready to marry your love at true sight, your soulmate, and you get on the altar and they say, do you promise to be faithful and death do us part and through thickness and in health, or sickness, not thickness, sickness and in health and rich or poor and all that stuff. And either the husband or the wife or whatever goes, oh, I hope so. I think, maybe, I might, I'll try. Okay, there is no marriage. Yet we use that exact same vocabulary when we're talking about products and services. Why? Because we're scared of rejection or we aren't bought in on the product or service we're offering. So we want to be absolutely confident and absolute with our vocabulary. If they disagree, that's okay. That's okay, but I don't want to go, I think, you might, this kind of, sort of, any of that language. I want to go, I found a plan you're absolutely going to love. You're absolutely going to love. And then I sell the outcome. It's going to provide you that additional benefit so you have extra money every month to cover your bills, so you have extra cash in your bank to actually pay those property taxes and stay in your home. On top of that, all your doctors are covered, your medications are covered, and I've lowered your deductible on those medications, which will also save you extra money. Now, I have a little bit of good news and bad news, Mrs. Jones, but don't kill the messenger. Right? Obviously, the good news is it's the annual enrollment period and you're qualified. The bad news is I can't get you that additional $150 savings for you and $300 combined between you and your husband until the 1st. Would that be soon enough? Okay? I'm selling the outcome of the plan before I even go over the details. Now, what I'm trying to do is get them to go, give me an objection so I can address it before there's a ton of pressure. So all I'm doing is a very high level of what the plan offers based on what they told me was important. Does that make sense, everybody? I don't want to go, this plan gives you X dollar, X dollar, X dollar, X dollar. I want to talk about the outcome the plan provides. So this plan is going to provide you the coverage you need to get the root canals and teeth pulled. On top of that, I know you said your doctor ABC was really important. Take a deep breath. They're all preferred providers, which means they love working with insert company and company loves working with them. On top of that, all your medications are also covered in the formulary. And by the way, did I mention they're all tier 1, so they're going to be $0. Also, it's going to give you that over-the-counter card, so you have extra money every month to buy A, B, C, and D. So with that being said, I'm going to go over this plan, but hopefully you're sitting down because it's not knock your socks or shoes off. You're absolutely going to love it. And then I'm going to go ahead and go over the details. You let me know if you have any questions. But the vacation is super important because I'm setting the expectation that they're going to like what they hear. If you set the expectation based on your point of view and not the customer's, you're already at a disadvantage. And what I mean by that is I think I found I. It's based on what you told me, based on what's important to you, based on what you're trying to accomplish. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you had mentioned A, B, C, and D was important. Did I miss anything? No? Great. You're absolutely going to love the program, the plan, the upgrade I found for you. It's going to give you outcome. Does that make sense? The details are just a formality for compliance. It's just a formality for compliance. Groovy? Questions on that? Okay.
So,
yes.
what were some of the sentences you were saying earlier that about mentioning details from their point of view? I've got, based on what you told me, and you're absolutely going to love, are there some other examples that I could write down?
Sure. Let me see if I can think of something off the top of my head. So I would say one, I guess here's one. Because of the fact you said you wanted extra money for, great dental coverage so you could get, and all your doctors and medications were a top priority, that they were all covered, I found a phenomenal plan. Kind of silly, but I think it was designed specifically for your current situation. I know you're absolutely going to love it. If you have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and go over the details. You let me know. If you're feeling brave, you can do an assumptive close after the vacation, which is, so if I heard you correctly or based on what you told me, A, B, C, D was important. Did I miss anything? No. Okay. So I found a plan you're absolutely going to love. It's phenomenal. It's rated 4 out of 5 stars. It's one of the highest ratings Medicare's offering right now, which is great. Doctors are covered, meds are covered. So unfortunately, because it's the annual enrollment period, good news is you're qualified. Otherwise, we still wouldn't be on the phone. The bad news is I can't get you set up with this upgraded program or plan until the first of the year. Would that be soon enough? If they say, no, it's not, gosh, I wish I could pull some strings, but we're stuck at the first of the year, so you have to wait till then. So I'm going to go ahead and go over the details, and then I can help you with the application. Does that sound fair? Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to touch on one other important part. Is we have our needs and our vacation, and then after the presentation, this is important, because this is where we lose people. And once again, one of the big things on why people struggle with objections is we try to address the wrong objections, and then we cry. Okay? We try to address the wrong objection. That's not the real issue. So this is important because it helps me isolate what potentially caused the problem. Part of the process is we present the plan. Okay? The stuff in red we have to cover. The stuff in blue is optional, depending on if it's important to the customer. Okay? This sentence right here. Is there anything you don't like about the additional benefits? Is super important. We don't move any further until that answer is no. There isn't anything I don't like. They go, sounds okay, I want to think about it. That's fair. But is there anything you don't like? And I loop back to that until they give me an answer. Okay? So once we get a no here, then we're going to go over the medications. So is there anything you don't like? They say, no, it sounds great. Awesome. So the next step is I'll go and help you with the application. I pause to see if I get any pushback. I pause for about 2 seconds. And then I go, but before I do that, Medicare requires I go over your medications. Great news is, like I'd mentioned, they're all covered. If, in fact, they are covered, right? If they aren't covered, don't tell them they are covered. Does that make sense? It's common sense? Okay. Why do I do that? Well, what do you think happens? And has Brian gone over quoting medications? Okay, so it's like, this medication's a tier 1, no prior authorization, quantity limit of 360, no step therapy. You do that with 10 medications, and they said, yes, I'm ready to go. Then we go through meds, and all of a sudden they say they want to think about it. What caused the problem? Was it the benefits, or was it the confusion on medications? Do you see how it helps me isolate what the issue is? When we bleed those two together, and then a customer says, I want to think about it, I don't know, is it the plan and the benefits, or are they confused about medications? Once again, the issue is we try to address the wrong problem or the wrong fear. This helps me separate the two, so it's easier for me to give them peace of mind. Yes?
So you get the no, they don't have any additional, or they don't have anything they don't like.
Yep.
Then they're like, oh, I'm not sure with the medication. How
Yep.
do you bring that, like?
Great question. So this is also stuff we can do in either live, your team lead will help you with on the phone, or hopefully get the sale while you're on the phone. But if we don't, then we can do it in coaching. But what I would say is, they go, oh, I want to think about it. I say, that's fair. So before I went over the medications, Mrs. Jones, you were ready to have me help you with the application. So I'm assuming, I always take ownership. I'm assuming I said something or did something to confuse you about your medications. And then I go, is that correct? Or it sounds like, feels like, right? It seems like I might have lost you going over the medications. And then I just pause and let them answer. It doesn't happen that often, but sometimes it does. If you get I'm ready to go after the presentation, you're generally safe. But if it's a funky one where they have some meds that are on the formulary and they have to get a formulary exception and it's kind of messy, that's generally where you might get some hesitation after the medications.
Okay.
Does that make sense? At least to the best of your ability, seeming I'm dumping a ton of information on you all at once. Okay. So I normally say this in the beginning, but I try to go over a lot of concepts and then like reverse engineer and train on the concept. So for what it's worth now at the end of the day, I'm telling you that. Okay, so we go over medications. And then we basically have our transition into our enrollment, which will be Sunfire. And you have to read all those disclosures verbatim in Sunfire. Have y'all done a practice run through the disclosures in Sunfire?
No.
Okay. So after we get out of here, we'll take a little break. And then, not everyone has Sunfire?
Not everybody. We've been using Brian's.
Can multiple people log into that at once?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Then everyone will log into Sunfire and we'll click through and quote unquote start an application if it will let us. It should let us click into that. And then I want everybody just to read through that quietly to yourself. I'd probably recommend reading it out loud because it just helps with getting comfortable with it instead of in your head. And just get comfortable with that application because it is a lot. It's a lot of information. It's like 7 pages. The more comfortable you get, probably takes 10 minutes. When you're new, it'll probably take you 30.
7 pages of disclosure?
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of disclosures. So you're basically doing the application on behalf of the customer. So it's as if the customer's reading all the disclosures. Yeah. What I will say is when you get all the processes down and are super comfortable, you can get an enrollment in 30 minutes. But in the beginning, it's probably going to take you an hour and 30 minutes. That's just part of the learning curve. Finding the quote-unquote right plan, we overthink normally. Then looking up doctors and meds is going to be something that takes a lot of time. And then just being comfortable going through the disclosures. There'll be questions, what date do I put here? It's a little bit easier during AEP because it's all the same versus other times of the year, there's different SEPs and things like that. So this time of the year, once you get it down, nothing will change, which will be nice. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We'll take another 15-minute break. So that will be, well, first, any questions or what questions do you have? Okay, groovy. So we'll take a 15-minute break. That will be 40, 50, 150. And then if y'all want to log back into your computers, get Sunfire pulled up, and then I'll walk you how to get to that application or the disclosure, and then we'll read through that. Appreciate y'all.